mission statement is Tejus Home protects, nurtures and empowers abused pregnant teenagers, teen mums and their babies. We're talking about girls aged 13 to 17 who come to us generally at about 5 or 6 months pregnant due to sexual abuse. Out of the 13 girls who have come to us at Tejus Home so far, since we opened in November 2012, 5 of them have been below the age of 15, and every single one of those girls knew their abuser. We've known Gayatri since she was 8 years old, when she was in one of our children's homes. When she turned 13, her parents took her back and went to Bangalore. About a year later, I got a phone call from a social worker saying that they'd found Gayatri at the railway station. She'd run away from her family and she wanted to come back to us. As soon as she reached Cochin, we understood that Gayatri was pregnant. Her parents had forced her into a child marriage with a man of 28. And so at the age of 13, she was abused and became pregnant. I was also pregnant at that time with my second child. So to see Gayatri in that situation, just a little girl, was heartbreaking. And we really felt that we needed to take care of her. There were no adequate places for a girl in her situation. Either she would have been placed in a girls' orphanage where she would have been advised to not interact with the other girls because she was considered a bad influence, or else they would have placed her in a home for destitute women where she also didn't have her place as a 13-year-old. Since there were a couple of other girls in similar situations, we talked about it with the Child Welfare Committee, and they really encouraged us to open a home for abused pregnant teenagers. Gayatri gave birth in April and named her son Tejus, and that's how Tejus Home was born.
When we started this initially, there was a lot of objection considering their age. A lot of people told me, how can children, they're basically children having children, but is it possible? Will their bodies expand? Can this happen? There were a lot of questions, but we always want to try. And I've seen that they do remarkably well.
We don't ask them why this happened to them or why they were in that place. We put the full blame on the person who caused this to these young girls. So first we start with explaining to them how they're pregnant, what's happening to their bodies, what changes they're going to go through. And then we start doing exercise with them. We look at their diet. We tell them why it's important for them, as well as the baby, to eat well, to exercise. Another big aspect is they have the home they're in has other girls have already been through it. So there's some that are ahead of them, there's some that are behind them. So it's also shared through the girls themselves. And I think that's a very important part of this because the girls feel welcomed. They feel like they're part of something that's not shameful, doesn't make them feel guilty. They're all in this together. And then as a midwife here, I think having an older woman treat them with respect, treat them with love and care is a very, very big part of them being able to transition out of this phase of their life.
When they come into labor, there's a sense of power which surrounds them. And you can feel that force very strongly around them. You can link it with many ways, be it spiritual, any way that you want. You can see that this is the force that's taking them forward. These girls often tell us before birth, we ask them, would you like to see your babies? A lot of them do say, please don't show us our babies, because if we see them, we may not be able to give them up. They're not pregnant through choice. And they're pregnant through men probably they do not even want to look at. Most of the men are as old as 50s, 60s, stepfathers, fathers, and most often it's somebody that they know. Despite all this, they still nurture good feelings for their babies. They do not hate their babies in any way. They may hate the men, but not the babies. How I've understood this very clearly is, I think it was in my second week visit with these girls, and I saw both these girls who had babies sleep with little dolls next to them, and they're kind of imagining that that's their babies, though they have given up these children.
Tejus Home was created out of a desperate need, a need for Gayatri and Tejus and other girls in her situation, of which there were a few at that time. We felt that they had more rights than they were being given at that time. We have the legal aspects to take care of, the medical aspects, the education, the choices, the trauma, the families, the society, everybody's judgments, and it's a lot to deal with. What Tejus Home is right now for the girls is definitely a place where they can feel safe, where everybody gives them the utmost respect, and they're loved.